You mean after that?
The reason you're early. You're the most transparent man I ever saw. I hope NATO isn't trusting you with any secrets.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Let's hear one.
Oh, you would be surprised, Matahari.
Just tell me if it's unpleasant or not. I always look at the end of the book. I can never wait.
I know. You have no restraint.
All right. Begin.
Well, the secretary called me into his office, sat me down and gave me a cigar. A good cigar.
Oh, that's nice. And then?
He wanted to know if I'd accept a change of assignment. New York.
New York?
Yes. That's what I said, New York.
Now, give him his cigar back.
Oh, I told him we had an understanding of what my duties would be and where, and it would be inconvenient for me to change.
Very inconvenient. Well, but they can't force you. It isn't like the army.
No, they can't force me to go.
Well, then everything's all right. Oh, don't you dare to scare me like that again. You were definite about refusing, weren't you?
No, darling, I left it open.
But why?
I wanted your advice.
You have it.
Yes, you see, I omitted a sidelight. You do want to hear the case for both sides, don't you?
Well, not particularly.
Well, the man I'd replace is the author of a very complicated monetary pact. He's been working on it for years, and now it's just about ready to be closed.
Well, let him close it.
Well, it takes a lot of negotiating.
Well, let him.
Well, he intended to. He was going to New York, but he's dying. He's just found it out, and now we know, and we can't let him go.
Oh.
Now, what should I tell the secretary, Anna? Send someone else? I'm the only man capable of handling the work. You can take my modest word for it.
How long would it be?
3 months. Perhaps 4 or 5.
5 months? And you've already said that you'd go.
It'll go by quicker than you think.
Oh, that's not true. Why do people always say that? It'll be longer than I think. Much longer.
I feel as badly as you do, darling.
Want to bet? When do you leave?
There's a whole commission going. We're sailing tomorrow on the Elizabeth.
Tomorrow? It is as bad as the army.
I know. And I won't be with you for your birthday tomorrow night.
No, not for the sea witch either.
You go, dear.
No, not without you. Oh, I'll miss you, son. Oh, everything is impossible for us this way. Philip. Could you possibly get a divorce and marry me? Oh, I don't know why I said that. Oh, please, please forgive me. I don't know what came over me.
Anna,
oh, I'm so sorry.
Anna,
I
please
had
don't.
no right, and I know that. Now you'll always remember that I asked you.
No, it's all right.
Promise me that you'll put it out of your mind. You'll forget it ever happened. Promise me it never happened.
It never happened.
I never said it.
You never said it.
And we'll never refer to it as long as we live.
All right, darling.
Oh, I've done it again. As long as we live, that's the same thing. Oh, Philip, you are free. You can go when you please. I have no strings on you.
I do love you, Anna.
I don't see how. Why don't you get up and leave? I wouldn't blame you.
Come on. You're very beautiful when you cry.
Oh, I'm sure. Pink eyes are very becoming.
Listen to me. Tomorrow night at midnight, let's drink a toast to your birthday. Will you remember?
I'll drink, all right.
At the first stroke of Big Ben, raise your glass. Where will you be? I'd like to picture you.
The fireplace. That's usual. I did it in a play once. I was wonderful in it.
Well, there must be Margaret and Alfred.
They know, of course.
Yes. Alfred feels very badly about it.
He should. He was the one who tricked you into NATO. Hello, dear. Hello, Margaret.
Hello, Anna.
Hello, Judas.
There was no other choice.
I could have given you a list of names, yours on top.
As soon as he told me, Anna, I said, why can't you go?
Her exact words were, why in hell can't you go? In front of the servants.
He told me he wasn't bright enough. Philip is supposed to be very clever about money.
I haven't seen any evidence of it. I think he's going to bankrupt England and America.
Never mind. We'll have a lovely time together tonight. We don't want you two to be alone.
Why not, may I ask?
You're taking the wrong attitude. You know the time will go much quicker than you think.
I told you. Everyone says that. I'm going to get dressed.
Oh. Women. I wish I were going with you. Look, let's go to the club.
No, I think I ought to stay here.
They won't come out of that room for a couple of hours. I'll give you a game of snooker.
A game of what?
Snooker.
What's that?
Come on, I'll show you.
The group that's sailing tomorrow is using the 4 days on the ship for discussion. I'm not in on that. Do you think anyone would object if I fly?
No, certainly not.
Oh, dear. Because I'd like to spend those few extra days here.
Of course.
You see, tomorrow at midnight, Anna and I had planned to drink a toast to each other. She thinks I'll be on the high seas.
You'll walk in the door?
Yes, that's the idea. That ought to surprise her.
Yes, it should do. Well, that's very romantic. I didn't mean that disparagingly. I envy you your touch. It is my belief that success with women is something that you're born with, and you're not entitled to any of the credit. I hope I'm not embarrassing you.
Not at all.
But it's an interesting subject.
Yes, and quite popular.
Well, there's one thing I'm very curious about. I'm hesitant to mention it to you for fear you'll be offended.
Well, then perhaps you shouldn't.
I'll just have to chance it.
All right, if you must. Thank you.
As I said, I'm just curious. Why do you pretend to be a married man when you're not?
How did you know?
Well, they make quite a security check.
You intend to tell Anna?
Of course not. What do you take me for?
Her brother-in-law, for one thing.
Well, I'm not her guardian. You must admit that it doesn't sound honorable.
Well, then let me make my position clear to you.
Actually, it's clear enough.
No. Obviously it isn't. No, come along now. Now, just try to follow this. Let's just take the usual case. A man meets a woman, he's attracted to her. He courts her. They're old enough, and she favors him. Eventually, she'd like to get married. He then says, I am not the marrying kind. And you admire such a man?
No, I don't, but go on.
Well, I, too, don't care to be married. On the other hand, I don't care to give up women.
I understand that.
Now, since I have no intention of getting married, I feel honor-bound to declare myself in the beginning.
What, before the favors?
Certainly before the favors. That's where the honor comes in. Now, how do I declare myself? By saying I will never marry? What woman really believes that? If anything, it's a challenge to them.
Well, what do you do?
Well, I say I am married. I'm married and I can't get a divorce. Now, our position is clear. There can't be any misunderstanding later.
Well, it sounds reasonable.
Well, it is reasonable.
I think NATO has got you in the wrong job. I know there's a big hole in your argument. I haven't come to it yet, but there must be. There must be.
Why must there be?
You've got it all wrong. You're the exception, you know. Most people do get married.
Well, I don't resent that.
That's very tolerant of you.
I merely asked them to respect my indifference.
You're just against marriage for yourself.
Oh, indeed I am. And whether you believe it or not, I love Anna. I love Anna as I've never loved before. But I wouldn't marry any woman if you held a gun to my head.
I haven't got any gun. Anyway, I don't think it's a brother-in-law's place. Has to be a blood relative. Come on, let's go home. Hello there. I'm back.
Where's Philip?
He's downstairs in his apartment getting dressed.
When Philip gets off the Elizabeth in New York, I'm going to be on the dock to meet him. I'm going to fly while he's sailing.
What's that?
Well, you heard me.
You heard her.
I was hoping I didn't.
Well, you were wrong.
But what about your play?
Well, it's a big hit now. They can get somebody else less expensive. They won't mind. They'll be delighted.
Anna, be practical.
I am practical. I will not be separated from him for 5 months.
You're talking like a schoolgirl.
A schoolgirl can afford to wait 5 months.
See that expression on her face? The first time we saw it, she was 4 years old. We couldn't budge her then.
Did Philip ask you to come to New York?
Oh, Philip. Oh, no, he'd never. He'd be too concerned about my reputation. He's the most considerate, unselfish, honorable man that ever lived.
I'm burning candles for him. You say something.
Mm-hmm.
You're a diplomat. Talk her out of it.
Well, what do you advise? Well, be brilliant. Just start me off.
Please don't say anything, Alfred. Please.
Well,